Okay, we're back. Today we've got Genesis Wind and Wuthering album review. It was released on December 27th, 1976. The internet disagrees with the date compared to what it says on the final page of the album liner notes, where it says originally released on December 27th, 1976. Do you see that right here? Okay. The internet says something else, but this says December 27th, so we're going with that. 9 songs, 51 minutes. Produced by David Henschel in Genesis in Holland, or the Netherlands, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, let's do the breakdown right away. 6 of the 9 songs are Tony Banks. 4 of the 9 songs are Mike Rutherford. And Steve Hackett wrote 4 of the 9 songs. And then 3 of the 9 are Phil Collins. Okay, so what you can see is more of a trend. And in the old albums, and all the songs say written by Genesis, composed by Genesis, produced by Genesis, arranged by Genesis. But now they're breaking them down into who contributed what. And, Steve Hackett, who's one of the main members of the band, he's never equal to the leader, or he's somewhere in the middle. And I think that for him, that's stifling and frustrating. So we'll get to that later. The album cover by Colin Elgie of Hypnosis. It's like a really gray and green cover, like lacking of color, and there's like a little bit of, or I guess that's orange or red, but very cloudy, very hazy, always cloudy with Genesis. It seems like even the earlier albums like Trespass, there's blue skies but there's clouds. He also did A Trick of the Tail, Tormato, Black Sabbath, Wishbone Ash, Pink Floyd, A Nice Pair. This Colin Elgie or LG, I'm not sure how to say it. He's done a lot, so he's done a lot of album covers and he's good at it. By the way, this also reminds me of a Stone Temple Pilots. It's called Perdita, if you've ever seen it. The liner notes, I have a problem with the liner notes. It's like the gatefold. It's blue with orange text, but it's a very light orange, so for an old guy like me, it's hard to read. It's a serif font. Genesis likes that. Serif is, fancy, so it's got extra, all the letters have extra squigglies or whatever, or extra marks. There's a flock of birds on the back. See that here with the tree? And then there's birds here. And a leafless tree. And that's a lot of symbols or symbology or whatever. It's It is kind of a barren album. I mean, if you extend that metaphor to the next level, it's not quite as happy and pronounced as previous Genesis albums. It sounds like, well, it does sound like Genesis, but again, Genesis, putting Mellotron on songs like Blood on the Rooftops, 11th Earl of Mar, and One for the Vine. And there are other keyboards by Banks, including the Hammond piano, electric piano, which is a Fender Rhodes, grand piano, Steinway grand, synthesizer, his ARP 2600, and then he's got different synthesizers, Pro Soloist, Roland, all that. That's all in the. By the way, that's all that's in the credits. So you hear a lot of different sounds, and Genesis to me is a keyboard-driven band, sort of like ELP, but not like ELP, but. I've been thinking a lot about Genesis lately just because, well, I've been listening to Genesis all year, like a lot, and they're like Rush and they're like Pink Floyd and they're like King Crimson, but they're not really like any of them. They just kind of sit in the middle. They're not trying to emulate them. They're just like they've carved out their own nice little sound and place in prog rock, and it's a great place. And it really makes sense, and it makes sense to me. I just wish the guitars were more up front. But anyway, it is prog style Genesis, so those conventional Genesis trends that they showed on past albums, they hold up here. Songs start with intros in one key and for a few bars before changing, and then the verse of the song is in one key and the bridges are in another key, stuff like that. So very progressive. It's prog. That's how Banks writes his songs. That's how Rutherford and Collins and Hackett write their songs, and they like it that way. That's what makes it prog, and that's what makes it different from other rock and roll bands, and that's why it works. But just like I said, this one's different. It's even more mellow than A Trick of the Tail. It's not even close to Foxtrot or Selling England by the Pound. It's just like they're a little bit more mellow and less punchy, but still have plenty of punchiness. Okay, does that make sense? All right, now you're probably wondering, where have I been? Well, work pops up, business pops up. I had business trips, and I had to go. I had family stuff, and it's been a fun summer, but but an intense summer. And then I get health issues, but just rest assured, everything's fine. I'm still doing this stuff, and I'm gonna keep doing this stuff, like reviewing Genesis albums and other albums. And let's start. The first track is the 11th Earl of Mar. It's written by Rutherford, Hackett, and Banks. So pretty much a group composition. It's 7 minutes and 44 seconds, and the song features the mellotron, as I mentioned. The song has 4 parts. I'm just going to call it part 1, 2, 3, and then the ending part is part 4, for lack of a better way to describe the song. Like they haven't named the parts of the song. That's just how I broke it up. The song starts with a wispy organ part with some bass underneath it and some mellotron sounds. And "Oh Daddy, You Promised," and that the verses have a hopping beat to it. Probably the hoppiest song on the album. Is it? Yeah, it probably is. Part 1 is a verse, refrain, bridge, verse, refrain, instrumental. Part 2 is the 4th verse. Part 3 is the 5th verse, and then the ending part, or part 4, it's the part 1 bridge, verse, and refrain. So it's a very complex song structure, and that's how they like it, as I mentioned. It's in the key of E flat intro, and then B minor for the verses. The bridges are in C major, and it's a regular tempo, like 120 to 125-ish and 4/4 time. But by the way, they're getting more and more conventional with the time signatures, and that's a trend I've noticed. But they do break the mold on a lot of these songs on this album. The verse for Earl of Mar is, "The sun had been up for a couple of hours, covered the ground with a layer of gold." It's an 8-bar. Their verses and bridges and everything, it's becoming much more standardized. Okay, 8 bars, 6 bars, 12 bars. It's still prog, but they're definitely conforming, for lack of a better description. The refrain, 11th Earl of Mar couldn't get them very far. It's like Phil Collins as the lead vocalist. He kind of like, I wouldn't say he whispers it, but it's sort of like under his breath almost. And then he says, "Oh Daddy, You Promised." It's a 6-bar refrain. The bridge, see the steward all dressed up. He's got the eyes in the back of his head. 12 bars. Da da. The organ goes da da, like on a offbeat, like on 1, 2, 3, da da. The instrumental runs from 324 to 356. Sounds like the synth in the lead bearing the guitar line, or maybe they're playing the same thing, but all I can really hear is the synth part. Part 2 is the 4th verse. "Time to go to bed now. Never seems too keen to be a guest now in a house of dreams." It runs from 356 to 526, part 2. And part 2 is when the song changes, like the lyrics start at 444, and it's like a lullaby part of the song. I don't know how else to describe it, but where the guitar takes over the melody, and it's just a real low-key, low-energy part. Part 3 is verse 5. "I'm fighting gravity, falling. My daddy won't let them get me." It runs from 527 to 606. It's just a real short verse. And then part 4 is the daddy part again, 607 to 637. It's 12 bars. The 5th verse, "Bury your memories, bury your friends. Da 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 da." It runs from 638 to 710, 8 bars, just like the very first verse. And then the ending part of the song runs from 710 to the end. It's the piano part by Banks, the dum 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 dum, that whole thing. And that's the 11th Earl of Mar. Track 2. Oh, I never showed you guys the disc. This is my old disc. I've had this disc for like 35 years. It's an Atco. It's one of those Atco remaster deals. The second track is called "One for the Vine," written by Banks. It's 10 minutes flat. It's got a mellotron too. It serves as a background strings while Phil Collins sings, and it's like more of a pop song. It's a verse, chorus, bridge, interlude, instrumental, interlude, instrumental, interlude, instrumental, verse, chorus, outro. And the key, it starts in A minor and then moves to D minor after 4 bars. And it starts in 5/4 before settling into 4/4 time. The verse is 50,000 men were sent to do the will of one. It's 8 bars plus the end part. I am he, the chosen one. And then the chorus, then one whose faith had died fled back up the mountainside. It's 14 bars. Then there's the bridge part. Follow me, I'll play the game you want me about. It's about 32 bars or 32 beats, not bars. Or so, and Phil sings this line in like a falsetto voice. The interlude, no, 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 this can't go on. It's about 30 beats. The instrumental, the first one, runs from about 3:57 to 4:30, or about 33 seconds. Sounds like a flute in the lead, but without Peter Gabriel in the band, I'm pretty sure that's just Tony Banks punching on a mellotron flute sound. It's really wispy, and it's just flute plus piano. And then the second instrumental is right after that, runs from 4:31 to 6:26. The song starts over, and the beat picks and a lot of percussion sounds and whistles and junk to this hopping beat. Dot, 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 dot. It's a fast beat, like 120 beats per minute. They leave me no choice part, and then instrumental 3 runs from 6:41 to 7 minutes and 30 seconds. And then they travel across the plateau of ice up to its edge. And then the outro starts at 8 minutes and 24 seconds. The ending of the song is lead by the synth and percussion and bass. And the synths are so heavily featured on these albums that most of the time I can barely hear the guitar, and unless it's plainly obvious they've moved the guitar up into the front of the mix. Track 3 is Your Own Special Way, written by Mike Rutherford. It's 6 minutes and 18 seconds. It's a ballad, and there's not much to say about a schmupsy early Genesis ballad like this. Rutherford says he wrote it in chunks, and the important thing to note is that this is the second poppy prog ballad in a row for this album. Not quite opening the album because the first song, but they're moving in the direction that we know that they're all going to go into. It's a verse, chorus, break, verse, chorus. That's the song structure. It's in C major in 3/4 time and moderately beat. The verse, go far enough and you'll reach a place where the sea runs underneath. It's 16 bars in 3/4 time. The chorus, you have your own special way of holding my hand, keep it way above the water. It's 48 beats, feels more like 4/4 time in a slow tempo. And you can actually hear Hackett playing guitar in that part. The break runs from 3:46 to 4:46. It's about a minute of light, fluffy instrumental music, which is mostly the organ and keyboards going. The track 4 is What Gorilla? Written by Phil Collins and Mr. Banks. It's 3 minutes and 19 seconds. It's a real jazz song. And I watched this drum documentary on YouTube recently where Nick Collins, Phil's son, he basically interviewed Phil, and it was mostly about drumming, but also Phil singing and his career in general. But it's pretty cool if you want to check it out. But this is one of the songs that they talked about was What Gorilla. Phil says the song started with a rhythm he used for warm-ups, like either for a concert or rehearsal or whatever. And the song's got a dot, 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 syncopation to it. I broke this song up into 5 parts because it was easy to do just listening to it. The first part is the intro. It's drums to right up to the 32-second mark, and it's chimes at the beginning, and it's 16 bars when you start counting it. The part 2, others join in, led by the keyboards, from 33 seconds to 1:20. And you can hear the arpeggio guitars. If you listen closely enough, about 30 bars total. It's hard to count, but my best guess is about 30 bars. Part 3 runs from 1 minute and 21 seconds to 1 minute and 38 seconds. It's about 12 bars. And then part 4 is 1:39 to 2:03. The synth is going like Peter Banks. Peter Banks. Good God, Tony Banks. If I say Peter Banks, it's because I Yes had a guitarist named Peter Banks. He is a good guitarist too, but it's in here. But the synth is going berserker at the 1 minute 39 second mark to 2:03. It's 18 bars. And then part 5 runs from 2:04 to 3:19. The main thing you hear is the drumming and the guitars until the end of the song slowly fades out, and it ends with the chimes. And What Gorilla doesn't have any singing or vocals, it's an instrumental. Track 5, All in a Mouse's Night, written by Banks, 6 minutes and 38 seconds. It's a song about Tom and Jerry, the cartoon. It really is, and it sounds like that. Here's the breakdown of the song. The verses are in C sharp major. They're 8 bars, and it feels like in different tempos or times that keep changing, like 5/4 and 4/4. The pre-choruses are in F sharp minor, like 18 bars in a different tempo. And then the choruses, bridges, and outros are in C major, about 12 bars. Feels like counting in 2 beats, like 1, 2, 1, 2. But that's the song structure. Now, you got verses, pre-choruses, and choruses, but he's singing about a couple that lives in a house, the mouse, which is Jerry, and then Tom, the cat. So that's how the structure is. The loving couple sings the first verse. I can't see you, but I know you're there. Got to get you beside you, because it's really cold out here. And then the mouse is in F sharp minor. Think I might go out for a stroll into the night and out of this hole. Then the mouse in C major. This is the one of the choruses, I guess. Suddenly he bumps into wood. A door is closed. A voice from the bed. He'll be exposed. Then the couple again in C sharp major. Come on, baby, let the poor thing go. I'm not sleeping with that thing around here, no. Then the mouse in F sharp minor. The door's been open. My chance to escape. Must run out quick. Better sorry than late. I'm on the stairs. Then the mouse again in C major. Suddenly he bumps into fur. That's very unwise. A cat is much quicker than men in their eyes. This is the Tom part. So Tom is in C sharp major, singing, hard luck, mouse, this is the end of your road. The signpost says inside me, let me bear you heavy load. And that's the tune. Now, it's not really Tom and Jerry singing or a couple. It's Phil Collins, but, he's telling the story of Tom and Jerry. That's the song, okay? Track 6 is Blood on the Rooftops. It's written by Phil Collins and Steve Hackett. It's 5 minutes and 27 seconds. This is one of the Mellotron songs, and the Mellotron's in the backdrop. And this is like a sad pop song. It's a verse, chorus, verse, chorus. The key starts in A major and then shifts to G major. Most of the song is in G major, but it's prog, so it moves around a bit, 120 beats per minute. The opening 72 seconds of the song is some acoustic playing by Hackett. And the verse is, dark and gray in English film, the Wednesday play, we always watch the Queen on Christmas Day, won't you stay? And then the chorus is, let's skip the news, boy, I'll make some tea, the Arabs and Jews, boy, too much for me. The song is about, it is a pop song, but it's about people watching the nightly news. I mean, for your 6 o'clock news or whatever you want to call it. If you can imagine, back in the 60s and 70s and 80s, people actually come home from work and watch the news. Like, you'd watch the CBS News with Walter Cronkite or whatever. I don't think people do that anymore. But track 7 on Wind and Wuthering, Unquiet Slumbers for the Sleepers, written by Rutherford and Hackett. It's 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Now, track 7 and 8, the next 2 tracks really go together. Unquiet Slumbers has such a beautifully, sleepy quality to it. This is the kind of content that must have been influenced, your different rock synth operas like Danzig on the 2 Black Area albums or whatever, or even Pink Floyd on The Endless River or whatever it's called. Just real heavy with synths and organs, light on guitar and percussion, just the kind of music to put you in a trance. And you don't count out beats or rhythm or anything like that. You just kind of chill out to it. It starts in E. And then the next track is track 8, In That Quiet Earth, written by Rutherford, Collins, and Hackett and Banks. 4 minutes and 49 seconds. It's in G major. or G Mixolydian B6 to be exact. Thanks to Electric Hob on YouTube for... By the way, he did so many of these Genesis songs, but for this album, that was the only one I could find from Electric Hob, or there's another channel called Genesis Piano Transcriber. I was basically on my own for this one, so... but thanks to Electric Hob, great channel. This song, In That Quiet Earth, has a little more pump to it. There's more percussion, and rhythm for the percussion and lead guitar have taken over, and you can hear the bass going do-do, do-do-do-do. The groove changes at 2 minutes and 45 seconds and becomes a bit more stompier of a song. And the synth takes back over as the lead. And does it also put in the lead licks of other songs on the album, like from 11th Earl? I guess that's more like a rhetorical question, but a la Los Endos, like you can hear different parts of the album in Los Endos. Sure sounds like it to me anyway, but that's the tune. Track 9 is Afterglow, written by Banks, 4 minutes and 12 seconds. This is like a symphonic style soft pop love song written by Banks. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus, chorus, chorus. That's the tune. G major at 72 beats. The verse is, like the dust that settles all around me, I must find a new home. It's 12 bars, and then the chorus is, but I would search everywhere just to hear your call, 8 bars. And, that's like they put 3 love songs on the album. Anyway, let's get to the big summary. Wind and Wuthering. Good selling album, gold in the UK, Canada, France, the US, 750,000 sales. Number 11 for Genesis overall, behind of Trick of the Tail. And it's number 97 for albums in 1976, which is not too shabby. And ProgArchives.com gives it a 4.12. That's pretty high. That's 6 overall for Genesis, and 34% of the ratings are 5 stars and 46% are 4 stars. So that says that the critics think it's not the best of the Genesis material, but they sure do appreciate it. And AllMusic.com gave it 4 stars. Their contributor, Stephen Thomas Erlewine, says it's a cut from the same cloth as a Trick of the Tail, and that's that's sort of what I think of it. But I like a Trick of the Tail better. I always have, but that's just me. This one's just a little bit too poppy, and heading in the wrong direction, should I say. Rolling Stone gave it 4.5 stars. Wind and Wuthering relies more heavily on the Banks synthesizer, which costs them some bite, but lends a feel that is more pop. Rutherford's Your Own Special Way is a first-rate pop song, somewhat like the hit Roundabout. What is most surprising about these bands is that they are not the cold technicians that hostile, dismissive criticism often paints them. Indeed, Wind and Wuthering is more melodically innovative than most of the mainstream new rock. That's from Dave Marsh, February 24th, 1977. Your Own Special Way is a pop song. One for the Fine. That's a pop song. One for the Vine, I should say. Afterglow is a pop song. It's, even the Tom and Jerry song, All in the Mouse's Night, it's got like a pop, it's prog. It's prog, but they're pulling in, pop influences. And I think that's probably going to be one of the things that pushes Hackett out the door, that and his ideas being rejected, and not being able to contribute in the way that he wants to. And he's had his own solo albums out, so he's had a career, and it's probably more comfortable for him to do that at this point. So Seconds Out is the last Steve Hackett album. It's a live album, and then that's it for Mr. Hackett. Anyway, yeah, this review, I've been sitting on it for a long time. I wrote most of it in 2 days, probably more than 3 or 4 weeks ago. But I finally got a chance today to dust it off and finish it, so I'm quite pleased with that. And We'll keep the momentum going. Next up on the channel, I'm working on a Mellotron video. I'll probably do the Genesis albums ranking next, and then I gotta do a Nickelback ranking album, and then after that'll be Rick Wright, Wet Dream, and then Hot Streets by Chicago, and then we'll just keep rolling. All right, thanks for watching. I'm out. Like, comment, subscribe, everything, share.